After the college entrance exam, the class beauty offered to help everyone collect their admission letters and distribute them uniformly. I disagreed because the admission batches were different, and it was easy to miss the registration time. Before the start of the semester, the class beauty tearfully accused me of secretly taking her admission letter, causing her to miss the registration. My childhood friend angrily came to my house to confront me and burned all my luggage. My classmates also rushed to my house, snatched my phone to cancel the flight, and locked me in the room. As a result, the fire became uncontrollable, and I was burned alive. After being reborn, when faced with the class beauty's proposal, I wholeheartedly agreed. 1. Susie, why aren't you saying anything? Do you oppose my proposal? Hearing these words, I suddenly snapped back to reality, my gaze falling on the face of the girl across from me, who looked on the verge of tears. I knew it, you wouldn't agree. I just wanted to share the burden for our classmates. Everyone else agreed. So why do you? I realized that I had been reborn, returning to 2 days before the notice arrived. Our boarding school sends all admission notices to the school. Shen Xiao suggested we get together, and we happened to be in a private room at the time, so I directly interrupted her. I agree, you can collect them all. Thank you for your trouble. Even after I said all that, Li Yunmeng's eyes still reddened. You don't have to be so impatient. Shen Xiao couldn't stand it any longer and pulled me aside. Susie, what's wrong with you? Yunmeng was just trying to be kind. Don't be ungrateful. A surge of anger rose within me. Are you blind or deaf? Didn't you hear me say I agreed? Do I have to kneel down and kowtow to her, begging for her help to collect it? My words were like a slap in the face to him. Shen Xiao flushed red and said, no, I just thought, all right, if there's nothing else, I'm heading back. I rolled my eyes, stood up, and was about to leave when Shen Xiao stopped me again. Susie, everyone's at the gathering. What do you mean by leaving early? Yeah, Susie, looking down on people, usually so aloof, and now that the exams are over, even more arrogant. Seeing them like this, I don't want to have anything to do with them for a second longer. Shen Xiao was displeased. All right, Susie, I know you're jealous. Just because Yunmeng is kind-hearted, you can't stand it. Stop messing around, sit down quickly. Li Yunmeng also chimed in with a sarcastic tone. Susie, there's really nothing between me and Shen Xiao. You two are childhood sweethearts with a deep bond. I wouldn't be the one to come between you. I really couldn't take it anymore. You're overacting way too much. I really have to go back now. It's getting late. Sorry. I shook off Shen Xiao's hand and was about to leave, eager to get home. Shen Xiao stopped me. If you want to leave, fine, but leave your ID card behind. Don't go and claim the admission notice yourself with the ID card later. I looked at him in disbelief. Shen Xiao, are you crazy? Why should I? Enough with the nonsense. I saw through it long ago. You just don't want to cooperate with Yunmeng, so you pretended to agree. I refused to hand it over, but I couldn't stop him. He snatched my bag, pulled out my ID card, and with a forceful snap, broke it in two. I couldn't hold back any longer and raised my hand to slap him hard across the face. Shen Xiao, you're truly disgusting. Get out. I pushed him away with all my strength, picked up my ID card, and slammed the door as I stormed out. A loud crash echoed from behind, mixed with Shen Xiao's furious shouts, but I no longer cared. This time, I refused to play along with them. As soon as I got back, I reported the loss of my ID card and applied for a replacement. Then, I logged into my email and sent messages to the prestigious universities I had previously applied to. This time, I didn't even want the admission letters. Let's see how Li Yunmeng could still try to take advantage of me. After doing all this, I carefully checked all my documents and, after some thought, decided to mail them to my cousin in another province for safekeeping. Just then, my parents returned from their social engagement. Seeing the lights still on in my room, Mom came in. Cece, not asleep yet. Seeing Mom's face, I couldn't hold back any longer and threw myself into her arms, hugging her. Mom, I burst into tears. In my previous life, after I was burned to death, my parents rushed back. Utterly heartbroken, they hired a lawyer and reported it to the police, only to find that all the surveillance footage around the villa had been destroyed. Shen Xiao even gave false testimony, claiming that I had destroyed someone else's admission letter and, out of fear, set the fire that led to my own death. My parents were dragged into online harassment because of me, and the company was also attacked by netizens, leading to bankruptcy and closure. My parents also died in a car accident, too. After my death, my soul remained in place, and I was utterly heartbroken watching my parents die tragically. Now, looking at my mother's familiar face, I could no longer hold back and burst into tears. Mom was terrified and quickly patted my shoulder. "Cece, what's wrong? Did someone bully you?" I told Mom what happened tonight. When Dad came in and heard this, he was instantly furious. "The Shin family's child has gone too far. We thought you two were childhood sweethearts, and we've given the Shin family many benefits. With our two families cooperating closely, I never expected he would treat you like this. Dad, I don't like Shin Xiao anymore, and I don't want to have any further dealings with their family." "Alright, if my daughter doesn't like it, then we won't force it. I'll cancel the cooperation with their family right away." "Dad, before that, there's something I need to do first." I told my dad about my plan. In my past life, Shin Xiao was the one who caused my family to be ruined and scattered. Although Li Yunmeng was the main culprit, Shin Xiao provided false testimony, and I will definitely not let him off the hook either. Everything is ready. My parents are going to make the arrangements. I lay in bed, unable to sleep, scrolling through my phone. A video popped up in the class group chat, set in a private room. The classmates were egging them on. "We're about to graduate. Shout out your love, give them a kiss." In the video, Li Yunmeng, blushing shyly, leaned into Shin Xiao's embrace. Shin Xiao laughed and cursed, then pulled Li Yunmeng into a kiss. They really kissed. The class beauty and the class monitor are truly a perfect match. Brother Xiao is so lucky. The video abruptly ended. Seeing the lingering satisfaction on Shin Xiao's face, my heart ached with a sharp, stabbing pain. I grew up with Shin Xiao, and in our youth, I truly had feelings for him, but after entering high school, Shin Xiao changed. His heart began to lean toward Li Yunmeng. At that moment, Li Yunmeng sent a voice message in the group chat. "You guys are so mean, don't let Cece see this, or she'll get angry again." Shin Xiao, what does it have to do with her? Me, yeah, what does it have to do with me? Shin Xiao isn't my boyfriend. As soon as I sent my message, the group fell silent, and Li Yunmeng quickly tagged me. "Cece, don't be angry. We were just playing a game of truth or dare." Me, I'm not angry at all. We're about to start college soon. There are all kinds of guys in college. Right after that, Shin Xiao called. "Susie, what do you mean by that?" "Everything I said is the truth." I said seriously. "Back in high school, the teacher told us not to start dating too early, saying that in college, there are plenty of handsome guys, all kinds of types. Is there anything wrong with what the teacher said?" He was left speechless by my retort. After a long while, I finally gritted my teeth and said, "You're right." I hung up the phone and sent a red envelope in the group chat. "Have fun, everyone, I'm going to rest first." In my past life, they all said I was aloof and looked down on them, while Shin Xiao used money to buy their unified statements. I can use that trick too. After I sent the red envelope, everyone rushed in, each one expressing their thanks. Soon, I received a WeChat message from Li Yunmeng. "Susie, I hope you keep your word. Shin Xiao is mine from now on." In the photo, her lips were swollen and red as she nestled in Shin Xiao's arms, both of their shoulders bare. The headboard is the hotel's logo. "It seems things are going smoothly, no problem." Seeing my reply, she was quite pleased with herself, updating me on the progress every now and then, down to the smallest detail. I endured the disgust, read through all of it, and saved everything. "Li Yunmeng, you'd better stop sending those messages. Find some time to take him to the hospital for a checkup." I sent over the address of a men's health clinic. Li Yunmeng didn't reply again, probably furious. I lay down and had a pleasant dream. 3. The next day, I received the confirmation of admission from the prestigious university, finally letting out a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, Li Yunmeng also began receiving admission notices one after another. She opened a short video account and started recording unboxing videos. Today's admission notice. Babies, do you all want to see what the admission notices from different universities look like? Today, I'll let you feast your eyes. Some people in the comments section questioned whether she had violated personal privacy. Li Yunmeng didn't take it seriously. "I did this with my classmates' permission. I collected them first, and I'll distribute them all at once and keep a record. Our school also needs to track the admission rate for top-tier universities." In the comments section, some brainless fans praised her for being beautiful and kind-hearted, which made her extremely proud. However, I noticed that Li Yunmeng had casually placed the opened admission letters to the side, and the various notices and materials that came with them were all piled up in a mess. The admission letters for 42 people were all in her hands, including mine. When it came to recording mine, Li Yunmeng was so envious that she casually tossed my bank card aside. As everyone knows, the bank cards issued by the school are all uniform and even custom-made. used for paying fees, but Li Yunmeng had opened so many admission letters, and all these bank cards were piled together. Who knows which one belongs to whom by the time they're sorted out? Someone in the comments section reminded Li Yunmeng, who boasted confidently, "Don't worry, I'll send them all out 3 days before the start of school." I watched Li Yunmeng with a cold smile. Some schools require a physical examination report from a top-tier hospital, but Li Yunmeng withheld the admission notices, leaving them no time to even get the physical done. By the end of August, some classmates couldn't hold back any longer and tagged Li Yunmeng in the group chat. "Li Yunmeng, where's my admission notice? I checked online, and our school requires us to arrive a week early. Today is already the last day. Hurry up and give it to me. Yunmeng, give me my admission notice. I need to go for the physical exam. Yeah, I still have to deposit my tuition fees. Hurry up and give me the notice." For a moment, more than 10 classmates were all asking her in the group chat, but Li Yunmeng hadn't replied at all, making everyone instantly anxious. They tagged Shen Xiao again. "Brother Xiao, are you with Li Yunmeng?" It took a long time before Shen Xiao finally replied, "Got it, I'll ask her." I laughed. How could he possibly get anything out of her? The day before yesterday, Li Yunmeng and Shen Xiao threw a party at a villa in the suburbs to celebrate, and they even invited me. I avoided it by going on a trip with my parents, but I had someone hack into their home surveillance system. Li Yunmeng got drunk, poured liquor over the admission letter, and set it on fire. The two of them drank too much and only panicked after waking up. At that moment, I received a call from Shen Xiao. "Susi, can you do me a favor? Yunmeng can't handle all the admission notices alone. Can you come over?" I sneered inwardly, thinking he was just looking for someone to take the blame. I sneered, "Can't make it, I'm busy, Susi. We're classmates, what's the big deal about helping out? I know you're home, I've been neglecting you these past few days. If you come over today, I'll agree to be your boyfriend." I scoffed lightly. "Shen Xiao, who do you think you are, daring to reach so high for me?" Shen Xiao paused for a few seconds. I knew he was angry. After hanging up the phone, he sent me a message. "Your admission letter is with me, come get it." I was amused and sent him a beach photo. "I'm on vacation, can't go back, keep it safe for me." Going back was out of the question. Shen Xiao immediately tagged me in the group chat. "Susi, I never expected you to be this kind of person. I asked you to help deliver a notice to a classmate, and you weren't even willing to come." He even tagged everyone. It's all Susi's fault for delaying everyone's notices. This scoundrel, shifting the blame onto me. Instantly, I was bombarded with messages from everyone. Even the teacher was pulled into the group chat. "Susi, what's going on? You were so close to Shen Xiao. What's the big deal about running a few steps? Our family villa is in the same area as Shen Xiao's, so he thought he could drag me down with him, but we had already moved." After being reborn, I asked my parents to put the house on the market and move to the old family home. I sent a location. "Sorry, I'm not in the country, can't help. Besides, how heavy can the notice be?" Li Yunmeng, you guys insisting I come over, it's not, did you lose it? The group chat instantly erupted, and only then did Li Yunmeng jump in. "Sorry everyone, I lost it." She directly admitted her mistake, but then added, "But it's all your fault, you told me to put the notice at the villa, so I moved it there." Shen Xiao immediately jumped in to defend her, saying, "Yes, Susi, you have to take responsibility for this." Everyone in the group started targeting me. "Susi, you're disgusting. Susi, where are you? Get out here and face me." Looking at the screen full of insults, I only sent one message: "I'll book the earliest flight back. Let's talk in person tomorrow." I immediately called Shen Xiao. "Shen Xiao, have I offended you? Why are you slandering me?" Li Yunmeng's crying came through the phone. Shen Xiao said solemnly, "Yunmeng didn't mean to do it. If this matter gets exposed, she'll definitely be beaten to death by her family. Your family has money and influence, so a small matter like this shouldn't be a problem for you, Susi. If you take the blame for her this time, I'll agree to be your boyfriend." Hearing this, I laughed in anger. "Shen Xiao, you're truly disgusting." After hanging up the phone, I saved the recording and then called the police. After all, my admission letter was from Qing University. I ranked first in the school this year, and they destroyed my admission letter, so of course I have to hold them accountable. The group chat exploded, and the teacher found out, notifying everyone to come back. I took the earliest flight back. Shen Xiao and Li Yunmeng were indulging in a life of pleasure, completely unaware that during this time, their parents had set a trap for them, making the Shen family believe they had secured the land in the east of the city, which instantly made them arrogant. In the past, the Shen family revolved around me, and Mr. and Mrs. Shin would always show me care and concern, but after they secured this project, they completely turned their backs on us. On multiple occasions during social events, they even looked down on my father with an air of arrogance. When my father came back and told me about it, he sighed and said, "I thought, given our years of friendship, they would still have some decency, but I never expected." I comforted my father, saying, "Just look at Shin Shao, and you can tell what kind of family they are. Anyway, I'm going to study abroad, so you can just transfer the business overseas." My parents took my advice and decided to expand into overseas markets. As a result, none of us paid any attention to the Shin family. After getting off the plane, we went straight to the school. Besides our family, there were also police, reporters, and all my classmates present. Angry parents surrounded Li Yunmeng and Shin Shao, their sharp voices echoing, "You bitch, it's all your fault. Give me back my admission letter. The school is irresponsible. How could they let her be the only one in charge of it? Our children's futures have been ruined. Everyone else has already started school, and we still have to arrange for physical exams and make-up procedures. Do you have any idea how troublesome that is?" Li Yunmeng was trembling with fear from their intimidation. When she looked up, she saw me. It was her. "Su Si made me keep it. She forced me. I didn't dare to disobey." Seeing me step out of the luxury car, everyone rushed forward. "Your family is so wealthy. Why would you play with the fate of us ordinary people? What should we do? She has money. Let her compensate for the losses. 2 million per person." I was surrounded by them, with bodyguards and police desperately trying to maintain order. There were also many reporters on the periphery. "May I ask, student Su Si, why did you do this? Does student Su think that just because he got into Qing University, he can look down on ordinary people? Su Si, with all your wealth, why do you toy with the fate of ordinary people?" 5. Surrounded by so many people, I shook my head. "I will not compensate. Not a single penny will be compensated." "Why, beat her to death, this little wretch." Angry parents and classmates rushed over, and I shouted sternly, "Let me see who dares to lay a hand on her. Every grievance has its source, every debt its debtor. You believe whatever Li Yunmeng says. Serves you right for having no brains, without any evidence. Why should I be the one to compensate?" I shook my phone and played the recording. "Did you hear that? It was Li Yunmeng herself who insisted on keeping it, and she even damaged my ID card. That doesn't prove anything. You were the one who told her to move it to the villa for storage. Where's the evidence?" I retorted. "Just because she says it was me, it must be me. As everyone knows, Li Yunmeng and I don't get along. Since when has she ever listened to me? Besides, I didn't incite her, but I do know where your notice is." Hearing this, everyone immediately crowded around. "How do you know? And you said you didn't know anything about this. You're the one who's the real culprit." I laughed in anger, took out my phone, and sent the surveillance video to everyone online. "See, it was the two of them, drunk, who burned your admission letters for fun." Seeing the video, everyone was stunned, and anger surged. For a moment, Li Yunmeng was so frightened that she trembled like a quail. In the video, both of them were drunk, and Li Yunmeng even hugged Shin Shao and kissed him on the cheek. "Darling, look at these admission letters. I wonder what they'd look like if they were burned. Some of them are even made of platinum. They say real gold fears no fire. Do you think they won't burn?" Shin Shao snapped his fingers. "Then let's burn them. I'll show you." He was the first to set a notice on fire. The flames leaped up, and Li Yunmeng clapped her hands in delight. Seeing this, everyone was furious. Dare to do it but not dare to admit it. "Li Yunmeng, give me back my admission letter. You wretch, how dare you deceive me?" A parent stepped forward and slapped her. Li Yunmeng's face turned deathly pale. Shin Shao stood protectively beside her, while my parents stood behind me, scanning the room. "This is my lawyer, officer. They deliberately burned my daughter's admission letter. It was from Tsinghua University. I will hold them accountable." At this moment, everyone turned their attention to Li Yunmeng. She panicked, her previous arrogance completely gone, and hid behind Shin Shao. "The villa. The villa is yours. We were celebrating at your villa, and you were the one who invited us. The drinks that day were also provided by you." Shin Shao immediately chimed in. "Yes, that's exactly how it was. Su Si, you're jealous that I like Yunmeng, so you want to ruin her." I never expected Shin Shao to say such things. "Do you have any evidence?" "Isn't all the evidence in your hands? You rich people can do whatever you want." Li Yunmeng's timid demeanor stirred a protective instinct in her classmates. She had always been the darling of the group, and her beauty and fragility made her classmates especially protective of her. At that moment, Hearing her say this, everyone turned their attacks on me again. You always act so high and mighty in class. I wondered why you so easily agreed to leave the admission notice with Li Yunmeng. Turns out you wanted to take everything down with you. Do you even know what you've done to me? Universities have already started their semesters, and I'm still here looking for my admission notice. Pay up. You can't reason with these brainless people, I just said calmly. Shen Xiao, do you know, our family villa was sold a long time ago. It was sold right after the college entrance exams ended. Shen Xiao was instantly stunned, and the lawyer also presented the contract, with the date clearly visible, 6, in front of the media reporters. I also played the recording of Shen Xiao calling me to take the blame. Shen Xiao was instantly dumbfounded. Su Si, you actually recorded it. How could you be so vicious? Upon hearing this, I slapped him. Shen Xiao's face was slapped to the side by me. Am I vicious? Is my good condition the original sin? Just because I have money, I should be schemed against and made to take the blame for you, rather than calling me vicious. It's better to say you're both wicked and foolish. At this moment, the angry parents surrounded them once again. This time, no matter what Li Yunmeng and Shen Xiao said, it was useless. The school authorities and the police initially tried their best to maintain order, but without my bodyguards, they could no longer hold them back. Li Yunmeng was pinned to the ground and slapped more than a dozen times. Shen Xiao, who was trying to protect Li Yunmeng, was also beaten until his face was bruised and swollen. It wasn't until Shen's parents arrived and compensated each person 50,000 yuan that the matter was finally settled, including my share as well. I immediately donated all that money, then got in the car with my parents and left. No sooner had we arrived home than Shen Xiao's call came chasing after us. Su Si, I never imagined that after all these years of affection between us, it would be worth less than over 2 million yuan. I really misjudged you. Affection? Shen Xiao, how dare you talk to me about affection? Don't call me again in the future. It's disgusting. After saying that, I also blocked this number of his. At the same time, I saw all the classmates in the group apologizing to me. Su Si really wronged you. Su Si didn't expect that this matter was actually done by Li Yunmeng. I wronged you. Sorry. Actually, Li Yunmeng didn't do it on purpose. Brother Xiao is still the best, a hero saving a beauty. Su Si, if you ask me, you're too scheming, even recording things. Who would dare talk to you in the future? Exactly, it's too scary. I sneered. You really are a bunch of fence-sitters. You didn't hold back at all when you were hitting her. I immediately posted the video of them beating Li Yunmeng in the group chat, and suddenly everyone fell silent. I left the group directly. These idiots aren't worth keeping in touch with anyway. However, this incident still ended up spreading online. Many netizens saw it and followed the trail, digging up Li Yunmeng's previous live stream of opening her admission letter online. This sparked another wave of discussion. TSK, what's wrong with the little fairy? She just didn't take it seriously. She got drunk and burned the admission letter, then turned around and blamed the wealthy young lady. How malicious, such a young age, yet already reeking of green tea. What a brainless man, to come up with such a scheme and make someone else take the blame for him. How shameless, what a scumbag and a shameless woman. I heard that girl and the scumbag were childhood sweethearts, and this little green tea came in between them. That young lady is beautiful, wealthy, and sharp-witted. She's been beating the scumbag at every turn. I really admire such a clever girl. Li Yunmeng had originally wanted to become an internet celebrity, but she never expected that I would snatch the opportunity from her, and as a result, I was hailed as the talented woman of Qing University. Now Qing University has extended an invitation, but I have already gone abroad. I briefly explained it online and showed my admission letter from an Ivy League university. Sorry, everyone. I originally planned to attend university domestically, but I never expected that a small acceptance letter would reveal the treacherous nature of people. But it's okay, everything can start over from the beginning. The admission letter is our ticket to another level in life. 7. As soon as the incident occurred, I contacted the teacher and the school, but the response I received was to handle it myself. Moreover, the teacher from the publicity department said, in this matter, you're not as good as Li Yunmeng. She even thought about promoting our school. Do you know how high the first-year university admission rate is? For your class this time, 80%. With such an admission rate, our school will have no problem with future enrollment. Traffic first. Li Yunmeng could indeed bring some exposure to the school, but later, everything spiraled out of control. Soon, netizens began to speak out in my defense. Li Yunmeng once again trended on social media, tearfully apologizing to the entire internet during a live stream, all while wearing a full face of makeup. Immediately, some die-hard fans followed suit. Our classmates in the class also started stirring things up in the comments. Yun Meng is just so kind-hearted, she's really great. Su Si is just aloof, a strong woman. Yun Meng is so beautiful, such a sense of brokenness. Don't cry, my girl. Shen Xiao also hired a large number of water armies to help Li Yunmeng build momentum. The two of them started sticking together again, and Li Yunmeng even sent me a message. Su Si, so what if you got into an Ivy League school? Shen Xiao is mine. I blocked her again. However, Li Yunmeng and Shen Xiao also gained quite a following. For a time, the pairing of the wealthy young master and the clueless girl won the admiration of the entire internet. Some who were unaware of the truth even shipped them, but those who knew the truth scoffed. Li Yunmeng burned his admission letter. Has the internet already forgotten? Just apologize and compensate. What more do you want? The person involved hasn't even said anything, yet you're getting all worked up. Shen's parents also strongly supported them, riding the wave of attention. The Shen family became arrogant and overbearing. As for me, I enrolled in school as usual. On my very first day of school, Shen Xiao sent me another message. Su Si, as long as you apologize and admit your mistake, I'll still consider being with you. I sneered. What about Li Yunmeng? It's just for fun, but when it comes to finding a wife, you still need someone from a similar background. Reading this, I just feel disgusted. How could I have grown up with someone like him? I used to think Shen Xiao was somewhat handsome, but now, when I think about it, what else does he have besides that face? Now that he's with Li Yunmeng, he doesn't cherish her and still sends me these things. I truly feel disgusted. After taking a screenshot, I forwarded it to Li Yunmeng. After that, Shen Xiao never sent me any similar messages again, and I directly blocked all of their numbers. In the first month after starting school, my parents began to take action. In my previous life, they joined forces to burn me to death and also caused the death of my parents. This time, there's no way I can forgive them again. The land acquired by the Shen family was originally intended for real estate development. They invested heavily when construction began, even tying up all their liquid assets. However, it was later revealed that there were ancient tombs inside. They unearthed the tombs in the very first month of construction, and when the news broke, the entire nation was shocked. Moreover, this tomb complex was exceptionally vast. If they were to excavate it completely, it would likely take 5 or 6 years, meaning their funds would be tied up here indefinitely, with no hope of repayment in sight. In the past, if they had maintained good relations with our family, they might have been able to cover the shortfall with other projects. Unfortunately, after the incident with the admission letter, our family completely severed ties with the Shen family. They no longer interact in any public settings and have even transferred some of their assets abroad. 8. During social engagements, Shen's parents have also expressed dissatisfaction with my parents, causing the relationship between the two families to deteriorate rapidly. As soon as the news broke, Shen's parents immediately became anxious. In my previous life, the issue of the cemetery only came to light after I died. Now, I am setting the stage for them in advance. The Shen parents, who had acquired that piece of land, thought they had gotten a great deal and repeatedly mocked my parents in public for their lack of foresight. Little did they expect that they would end up shooting themselves in the foot. Late at night, I was awakened by a piercing ringtone. When I opened it, it was Shen Xiao. He asked me in a hoarse voice, Su Si, I had a dream. I dreamed you were burned to death. That wasn't a dream. I lay quietly in the darkness, recalling the tragic scene from my previous life just before death, and said solemnly, that wasn't a dream, Shen Xiao, that was my past life. I was burned alive by you. You heard my screams, didn't you? On the other end of the phone, Shen Xiao's voice trembled. So this time, you abandoned me without hesitation, didn't you? Su Si, why did you do this? Why? I was just joking with you. I never thought you would be burned to death. Even now, he still thinks it was just a joke. In my previous life, when I was locked inside and cried out for help, he laughed at me. Su Si, stop pretending. It's just your luggage that got burned. What's the big deal? There are still people in the villa. But he forgot, before he came, I was alone in the villa, because it was a holiday. My parents had gone abroad, and the servants at home had taken leave and gone out. That's how they were able to break in so smoothly. The moment I thought about how miserably I died in my past life, I immediately clenched my fists. Why are you in such a hurry? It was just a joke. After all, money is just money. If it's gone, then it's gone. You, Su Si, how can you be so stingy? Do you still hate me? I couldn't help but sneer. Why would you think I don't hate you? You were the one who burned me to death. You were the one who gave false testimony that killed my parents, and you were the one who stepped on my blood and tears to marry Li Yunmeng, weren't you? No, I didn't marry her, I didn't, I cut him off. Whether you did or not doesn't matter anymore, what matters is that I suffered a great loss in my past life, and this time I won't have any more dealings with you. No, Su Si, I know I was wrong, please help me, our family's capital chain is about to break, and we can't hold on much longer, for the sake of our childhood friendship, please help me. Okay, as long as you lend me 3 billion, I promise I will marry you. Hearing him say that, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Marry me, Shen Shao, how dare you say such a thing, is marrying you some great honor for me? You're utterly worthless, what makes you think you deserve me? Not to mention, after your family went bankrupt, you became even less deserving. After saying that, I hung up the phone and blocked the number. Shen Shao kept calling me like a madman, and I was so annoyed that I pulled out the SIM card and changed my number again. This time, he finally couldn't find me, but news from home still reached my ears. The Shen parents were completely devastated, with the bank pressing for debt repayment. They were driven to a dead end. The two of them committed suicide by burning charcoal in their villa. Shen Shao, however, had a strong will to survive, and due to his physical condition, he was still breathing when rescued, but because of severe oxygen deprivation, he lay in the hospital for a long time before waking up. 9. After he recovered and returned home, the house had already been auctioned off, penniless. He went back to school and applied for financial aid for impoverished students. Unfortunately, he had been extravagant in the past and looked down on others. When he and Li Yunmeng became a couple, they offended many people. Now that his family has gone bankrupt, many people are waiting to see him become a laughingstock. His application for financial aid was rejected. When his former companions saw him, they didn't forget to kick him while he was down, unable to bear the stark contrast. Shen Shao skipped too many classes and was eventually expelled from school. Back in his rented apartment, Shen Shao borrowed money from his former classmates. Those classmates all took the opportunity to kick him while he was down. Oh, isn't this Brother Shao? How did Brother Shao end up like this? He gave me 50,000 yuan without batting an eye before, and now he's borrowing 5,000 yuan from me. Brother Shao, you can't be serious, right? You wouldn't have turned into this. I remember you said back then. Shen Shao, have plenty of money. What's 50,000 yuan? I can afford to lose it. Do you remember when you threw the money in my face? Now you come to borrow money from me. There's no need, I'm just a poor student, I only earn a few bucks a month. Shen Shao, you asking me for money, are you looking down on me or is this on purpose? In the end, Shen Shao didn't manage to borrow a single cent from anyone. Instead, he was humiliated by them. In a fit of anger, he smashed his phone. As for Li Yunmeng, halfway through her dream of becoming a wealthy young mistress, she realized Shen Shao was unreliable. She wanted to break up with him, but unfortunately, Shen Zhao's parents had made her sign a 2 million yuan IOU. Until this debt is fully repaid, she can't go anywhere. The two of them are stuck together, locked in this situation. Without financial support, Li Yunmeng was living from hand to mouth. She was never the favorite in her family, but thanks to her good looks, her parents saw her as a cash cow. They hoped to marry her into a wealthy family, so she could live the life of a rich young mistress. After she got together with Shen Shao, the whole family stopped working, relying entirely on Li Yunmeng. Who would have thought that Shen Shao would actually go bankrupt? Now that the wealthy family was no longer a reliable hope, Li Yunmeng also disliked Shen Shao, and the two of them argued constantly. Shen Shao began to regret it, constantly searching for me on various platforms, saying he had misjudged Li Yunmeng and that she was nothing but a despicable person. The admission notice incident was deliberately orchestrated by Li Yunmeng. She didn't do well on the exams, only getting into a junior college. She looked down on us and was jealous, which is why she deliberately tried to ruin our admission letters. When the news came out, everyone once again lashed out at them, saying he deserved it, and now that he's bankrupt, he's just getting what he deserves. Shen Shao lost his composure and turned into a keyboard warrior, arguing with netizens online. He went mad, blaming everyone and everything, completely forgetting what he had done. Back then, it was he who indulged Li Yunmeng. Now, shifting the blame onto others only invites more criticism from netizens. When the news reached me, I scoffed, only remembering the last time I received a call from a number while I was traveling. I heard the sound of breathing and a scream from the other end, and I couldn't help but frown tightly. However, since there was no response for a long time, I simply hung up. Not long after I received a call from the domestic police and learned that during another argument between Li Yunmeng and Shen Xiao, she had harshly pushed him away, called him useless, and then got into a wealthy man's car. Shen Xiao couldn't catch up in time and was instead beaten up by the wealthy man. Unable to swallow his anger, he tricked Li Yunmeng into returning home and later set a fire, burning her alive. Afterwards, he left me a suicide note, apologizing and saying he had repaid everything he owed me. I gave a cold laugh and threw it all into the fire, burning it to ashes. Repaid? It can never be repaid. In our previous life, our family died so tragically, while Shen Xiao was able to live so carefreely. It really bothers me that he got to live for so long without consequence. Now that he has died so easily, I don't feel the slightest bit of relief, but since he's already dead, everything has returned to peace. 4 years later, I graduated and returned to China to help my family. At the same time, I encountered the college entrance exam season. On behalf of the company, I delivered support to the exam candidates and also sponsored over 100 underprivileged students on the day of the exam. I personally escorted them to the examination hall, hoping that they too would one day spread their wings and soar. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. In a rental room in an urban village, I lay on my sick bed waiting to die. My phone popped up a news alert. Lin Yao, the young mistress of the Zhou group, was hosting a charity gala, and her mother-in-law personally placed a family heirloom jade bracelet on her wrist. In the photo, she smiled with pride and glory, wearing that jade bracelet that was meant for me in my previous life. I stared at that face, remembering 25 years ago when she was brought from the countryside to my home. My mother bought her a new school bag, and my father gave her the only university admission spot meant for our family. I treated her like a sister, but she stole my engagement and my fate. Before dying, I fixed my gaze on that photo. Lin Yao, in the next life, I will make you taste my suffering. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying on the carved wooden bed in the old mansion, and my mother's voice echoed from downstairs. Wan Wan, the Zhou family has come to propose marriage in a rental room in an urban village. I lay on my sick bed waiting to die. The room was tiny, just 8 square meters, with barely enough space for a bed. The window faced the wall of the neighboring building, so close you could almost touch it. Even during the day, you had to turn on the light, otherwise, it was pitch black. On the nightstand sat half a bowl of congee from 3 days ago, with a thin film formed on its surface. The caregiver hasn't come for 3 days. I can't afford to hire one anymore. My phone battery is down to 3%. I swipe open the screen and tap into the moments feed. The first one was sent by Lin Yao, a 9-grid photo with the caption, Zhou Group Charity Gala, grateful for everything red heart. The first photo shows her standing on the red carpet, wearing a champagne-colored evening gown with a jade bracelet on her wrist. I recognize that bracelet. It's the Zhou family heirloom, which was given to me in my past life. The second photo is a picture of her and Zhou Shen. He has his arm around her waist, and she's leaning on his shoulder, smiling so brightly that her eyes curve into crescents. The third photo is a picture of her and Zhou's mother, with her mother-in-law personally putting jade on her, both smiling at the camera, just like real mother and daughter. The fourth picture is of the banquet scene, featuring crystal chandeliers, long tables, flowers, men in suits, and women adorned with jewelry. I scroll down one by one, slide to the 9th one. It's her solo photo. She smiled at the camera. That smile, I've been watching it for 25 years, ever since she was brought to my home when she was 8 years old. That year, I was 7, and she was 8. Her mother had passed away, and my father brought her back, saying, from now on, she's your sister. My mom bought her a new backpack, and my dad gave up the only college spot for her. She said, sis, you're so good to me, I'll definitely repay you in the future. Repay. This is how she repays me. I put down my phone. Staring at the ceiling, there is a water stain on the ceiling, shaped like a map. I've stared at it for 3 months and know it well. The phone lit up. Another message from Lin Yao. This time it's a short video. She stood on the stage speaking, with a dense crowd below. Zhou Shen stood beside her, and Zhou's mother sat in the front row, her face beaming with smiles. She said, thank you to the Zhou family for giving me this opportunity. I will manage this household well, bear children, and show filial piety to my in-laws. The audience applauded. She handed the microphone to Zhou Shen. Zhou Shen took it, looked at her, and said, darling, marrying you is the greatest blessing of my life. I smiled. After laughing, tears streamed down. The phone battery is at 1%. I raised my phone and looked at that photo, that jade bracelet on her wrist. it was originally mine, the engagement was meant for me, the bracelet was meant for me, and that man was meant for me. She snatched it, took everything. I stared at that face, at that bracelet, at her smile. The phone screen went black. The power is out. I lie in the darkness. A sentence keeps spinning in my mind. 25 years ago, on the day she was brought from the countryside, my mother took her hand and said, "Yao Yao, from now on, this is your home," she said. "Thank you, Aunt." She calls my mom Aunt. She calls me sister. She calls me Rang. I have been yielding for 25 years, yielding until death. The door was pushed open. The light from the corridor shone in, and a figure stood at the doorway. She's the family member of the patient in the next bed, an elderly lady who usually helps me fetch water. She walked over, glanced at me, and froze. "Shaolin." I opened my mouth to speak, speechless. She ran out to call for help. Some people ran in, some were making phone calls, and someone shouted, "Ambulance." I listened to those sounds, growing fainter and fainter. My eyes were still open, staring at the ceiling. That water stain looks like a map. I wonder, where do people go when they die? Will there be a next life? If there is, Lin Yao's face surfaced once again. She was smiling at the camera, a jade bracelet on her wrist. If there is a next life, I closed my eyes, opening my eyes again. The sunlight is blinding. I squinted, taking a moment to adjust before I could see my surroundings clearly. Carved wooden bed, rosewood wardrobe. Outside the floor-to-ceiling window stands an osmanthus tree, its branches laden with golden yellow blossoms. This is my family's old house, the room I lived in before I turned 15. I sit up, I look down at myself. The hand is young, with smooth skin and no needle marks from 4 drips. On the bedside table sits an alarm clock, its hands pointing to 9 in the morning. Next to it is my phone. The screen is lit up. Date, March 12, 2018. I was stunned. 2018, 6 years ago. 6 years ago. My mother's voice came from downstairs. "Wan, get up quickly. The Zhou family has come to propose marriage." I sat on the bed, holding my phone. The sweet scent of osmanthus drifted in through the window. "Zhou family, propose marriage, Lin Yao." I stood up, walked to the mirror. The face in the mirror, 25 years old, with a healthy complexion and bright eyes. I stared at that face for a long time. The call came from downstairs again. Wan. I take a deep breath, turn around, open the door, go downstairs. In the living room of the Lin family's old house, 5 people were sitting: my dad, my mom, and the 3 members of the Zhou family. Mother Zhou sat in the middle on a rosewood chair, holding a covered bowl of tea, wearing a dark green cheongsam with a string of pearls around her neck. She looked up at me, her gaze sweeping from head to toe, lingering on my face for 2 seconds. I recognized that look. That's how she looked at me in my past life. Not satisfied, Mr. Zhou's father sat beside him, a chubby middle-aged man with little presence, sipping tea, nodding, and smiling. Zhou Shen stood behind his mother, dressed in a suit and leather shoes, his hair neatly combed. He lowered his head and played with his phone. From beginning to end, he never looked up. The matchmaker stood up and greeted me with a smile. "Wan is here. Come sit, come sit." I sat down next to my mother. The matchmaker began to praise. She praised the Zhou family for their wealth, stating that the Zhou group ranked among the top 3 in the city and had expanded its business overseas. She praised Zhou Shen for his excellence, mentioning that he had returned from studying abroad, owned 3 companies, and was highly sought after as a marriage partner. Mrs. Zhou held a covered bowl of tea, a faint, elusive smile playing at the corners of her mouth. Zhou Shen continues to play on his phone. The matchmaker finished praising and then turned to ask my mother, "Aunt Lin, what do you think of this marriage proposal?" My mom nodded with a smile. With such excellent conditions in the Zhou family, it's Wan's good fortune to marry into it. Mrs. Zhou set down her teacup. "Then let's set the date. How about the 8th of next month?" My mother was about to nod. A voice came from behind. "Auntie." I turned around. Lin Yao walked over from the kitchen door, holding a plate of cut fruit in her hand. She was wearing a white dress, her hair was down, and there was a faint smile on her face. Walked over to Mrs. Zhou, and placed the fruit down. "Auntie, have some fruit." Mrs. Zhou glanced at her. I am Wan's cousin, Lin Yao. I'll be staying at your place." Mrs. Zhou nodded. Her gaze lingered on Lin Yao's face for a couple of seconds longer. Lin Yao lowered her head, the tips of her ears turning slightly red. I looked at her. 25 years ago when she came to my house, she was 8 years old, as thin as a stick of firewood. My mother bought her a new school bag, and she hugged it and cried all night. My father gave up his university spot for her, and she knelt down and said, "Thank you, uncle." Now she is 22 years old, standing in front of Zhou's mother. Blushing like a little bird waiting to be chosen, the matchmaker continued to speak. Shall we set it for the 8th of next month? Wan, are you willing? I was about to speak. Lin Yao suddenly took a step forward. Auntie, my cousin hasn't been feeling well these past 2 days. She was coughing last night, and I'm afraid it might dampen the festive mood. How about, I help entertain the guests today in her place? My mom was taken aback for a moment. Mrs. Zhou was also taken aback for a moment. In her previous life, it had been the same. She said I wasn't feeling well and told me to go back to my room to rest. She stayed in the living room and kept me company all afternoon. When it was time to leave, Mrs. Zhou had already started calling her Yao Yao. I looked at her. Her eyes kept glancing toward Zhou Shen. Zhou Shen finally raised his head and glanced at her. Just one glance. Her ears turned even redder. I stood up. All right. Everyone was stunned. I looked at Lin Yao. Yao Yao, could you please help me entertain the guests? I'm really not feeling well and need to lie down for a while. My mother opened her mouth to speak. Wan, Mom, Yao Yao is sweeter and more articulate than I am. Let her accompany them. I turned and went upstairs. At the corner of the stairs, I glanced back. Lin Yao was already sitting in the spot I had just left, talking to Zhou's mother. Zhou's mother had a smile on her face. Zhou Shen had also put down his phone and was looking at her. I withdrew my gaze, continued upstairs, closed the door, stood by the window, looking at the osmanthus tree downstairs. The sun shines on the flowers, golden and bright. I open the wardrobe and change into a new set of clothes, exit through the back door, take a taxi, master, to the city god temple. The driver glanced at me through the rearview mirror. The city god temple, that place is remote, not many people go there. I know. He stepped on the gas and set off. The car left the city and headed up the mountain road. 40 minutes later, it stopped at the entrance of the temple. I got out of the car. The city god temple was more dilapidated than I remembered. The paint on the mountain gate has mostly peeled off, revealing the wood beneath. Weeds grow in the courtyard, and there isn't even incense ash in the incense burner. An old man in a gray robe is sweeping the ground. He has his back to me, sweeping slowly, one stroke at a time. I walked over. Master, he didn't turn around. Another one here to trade their life. I was stunned. He straightened up and turned around. A very ordinary face, over 60 years old. Squinting, he looked at my face. Did you die with regrets in your past life? I looked into his eyes. Yes, he nodded. Your fate was swapped by someone, and now you're empty inside. I kneeled down. Please help me change it back. He stared at me for a long time. Girl, the fate of a wealthy family is easy to change, but hard to change back. Are you sure? I'm sure. He sighed. It's not about swapping back. It's about exchanging your lives, from now on. She will live the life you lived in your previous life. Are you willing? I looked up at him. I do. He pulled a red string from his sleeve. It was thin and bright red, wrapped once around his finger. This string is called the marriage thread, connected to your fate. He bent down and tied the red string around my wrist, tied very tightly. In 3 days, it will move onto her hand on its own. By then, your lives will have been swapped. Your life now is that of an ordinary person. Her life now is that of a wealthy young mistress. Once the thread moves over, you will live her life, and she will live yours. I looked down at that rope, red, thin, wrapped once around the wrist, tied in a dead knot. Thank you, master. I stood up. I turned and walked out, walking to the temple gate. I glanced back. He was still sweeping the floor. His gray robe billowed and deflated in the wind, as if nothing had ever happened. I go down the mountain, take a taxi, return to the city. By the time I get home, it's already evening. Pushing open the door, the living room was bustling with activity. The Zhou family hadn't left yet. Lin Yao sat beside Mrs. Zhou, peeling an orange for her. Mrs. Zhou smiled as she took the orange and patted her hand. Zhou Shen sat opposite, watching her. I stood at the door, not going in. Lin Yao looked up and saw me. She smiled and waved. Sis, you're awake. Perfect timing. Auntie said the engagement is on the 8th of next month. How about being my bridesmaid? I looked at her. His gaze shifted from her face to her wrist. A red string now adorned her wrist, exactly the same as the one on my wrist. She didn't notice it herself. I smiled. Okay. The engagement banquet was held at the Hyatt Hotel, which is owned by the Zhou family, on the 3rd floor. In the banquet hall, crystal chandeliers, red carpets, and flower arches lined the path from the entrance to the stage. Holding a tray and dressed in a server's black vest and white shirt, I stood in the corner. The tray held empty wine glasses, collected to be sent to the kitchen. No one is paying attention to me. On stage, Lin Yao stood beside Zhou Shen, wearing a champagne-colored gown. I recognized that dress. It was custom-made for her by the Zhou family, and I had tried it on in my previous life. the waist was cinched tightly, the skirt trailed on the floor, and a row of rhinestones adorned the chest, sparkling under the lights. Zhou Shen didn't play with his phone today. He held her by the waist and smiled at the camera. Mother Zhou sat in the front row, wearing a dark green cheongsam, with the family heirloom jade necklace hanging around her neck. Next to her sat Father Zhou, along with various relatives from the Zhou family, Uncle Zhou's family, Aunt Zhou's family, third Uncle Zhou's family, all unfamiliar faces, but I had seen them all in my previous life. Their eyes were all scanning Lin Yao, from head to toe, from top to bottom. I carried the tray and walked past the crowd from behind. I walked to the side of the pillar and stopped. I looked down at my wrist. That red string was gone. It was tied on 3 days ago, and it was gone when I woke up this morning. I raised my head and looked toward the stage. Lin Yao was lifting her hand to adjust her hair. On her wrist, there was an additional red string, exactly the same as the one on my wrist 3 days ago. Red, thin, wrapped around once. She glanced down at it and frowned, rubbed it with her hand. It didn't rub off. Zhou Shen turned his head to ask her, "What's wrong?" "Nothing. Maybe it was the red rope bracelet I wore yesterday. Forgot to take it off." Zhou Shen nodded and didn't ask further. I carried the tray and walked toward the back kitchen. As I passed the first row, I overheard second Aunt Zhou speaking. "Is that Lin Yao, the adopted daughter of the Lin family?" Aunt nodded in agreement. "Yes, we brought her from the countryside and have been raising her for over a decade. She does look quite lovely. What's the use of being good? She's not even his own flesh and blood." Then, how did Zhou Shen end up marrying her? Wasn't he supposed to be engaged to the eldest daughter of the Lin family? The aunt lowered her voice. "I heard she fought for it herself. The eldest daughter was in poor health, so she took her place." Second aunt chuckled. "Replaced? What if she gets better? Even if she recovers, it's too late. The engagement is already set." I walked over. I didn't look back. The kitchen was bustling, with the chef flipping the wok and waiters rushing back and forth. I set down the tray, leaned against the wall, and pulled out my phone. Moments. Lin Yao just posted a 9-square grid. The first photo is a picture of her and Zhou Shen, both smiling happily at the camera. Caption: "Thank you, my Mr. Zhou." Red heart. The likes have already surpassed 300. I swiped to the second one. It was a photo of her and Mrs. Zhou. Mother Zhou held her hand, smiling with a kind and gentle expression. I stared at that face. In my past life, that face had never smiled at me. On the day of the engagement, she called me aside and said, "Wan Wan, your fate is too harsh. You're not suited to enter the Zhou family. Yao Yao is more sensible than you. Let her take care of Zhou Shen from now on." I didn't understand back then. Now I do. It wasn't that my fate was tough, it was that I wasn't chosen. The kitchen door was pushed open. A woman in a cheongsam walked in. It was the hotel manager. "Who is Lin Wan?" I stepped forward. "Me." She gave me a once over. "Mrs. Zhou wants you to come over. The VIP lounge." "Mrs. Zhou, Zhou's mother." I nodded. "Follow her out. The VIP lounge is on the second floor, with a golden sign on the door." The manager knocked on the door. "Come in." She pushed the door open and stepped aside to let me in. The door closed. Mrs. Zhou was sitting on the sofa, holding a cup of tea. She glanced up at me but said nothing. I stood at the doorway. "Auntie." She set down her teacup. "Did you request today's server yourself?" "Yes." "Why?" I looked into her eyes. I wanted to see what Yao Yao looks like when she's engaged. She froze for a moment, then she laughed. That smile, I couldn't understand. "You're quite honest." She stood up and walked over to me, circled around me once, looked from top to bottom. "You're prettier than Yao Yao." I didn't say anything. "Zhou Shen had his eye on you from the start." I still said nothing. "But you have bad luck." She stopped in front of me. "Do you know what fate is?" I looked at her face. "I don't know. Fate is." She extended her hand, pointing at the ceiling. "Determined by heaven. Who gets to enjoy blessings and who must suffer is all predetermined. You don't have the fortune of the Zhou family in your destiny. Yao Yao does." I stood there, after listening to her finish speaking. "Has Auntie finished speaking?" She froze for a moment. "She's finished." "Then I'll go back to work." I turned to leave. "Stop." I stopped. I didn't look back. "Don't you want to ask me why I chose her over you?" I stand there, think for 3 seconds. "No." Open the door and step outside. The corridor is very quiet. I move forward. After walking a few steps, I suddenly smiled. It was a very slight movement, just a twitch at the corner of my mouth. She thought I would cry, would ask why, would beg her. That's exactly what I did in my past life. This life, no more. By the time I returned to the banquet hall, the toasting had already begun. Lin Yao held her wine glass, toasting table by table. Zhou Shen followed beside her, his hand Resting on her waist, they walked to the first row, the table of Zhou family relatives. Second aunt stood up and took Lin Yao's hand. Yao Yao, from now on we're family. If you have anything, just tell second aunt. Lin Yao nodded with a smile. Thank you, second aunt. Aunt also stood up. Yao Yao, that bracelet of yours is quite pretty. Where did you buy it? Lin Yao looked down at her wrist. The red string was still there. There's a greenish mark around it. It looks like it was from being tightly bound. She froze for a moment. This might be from wearing it for too long. It's a bit tight, and frowned. Still wearing it like this? Take it off. Lin Yao reached out to take it off. It wouldn't come off. She tried harder. Still can't take it off. Her face was a bit pale. Zhou Shen leaned in. What's wrong? This rope can't be taken off. Zhou Shen lowered his head and glanced down. Just a rope. Use scissors. The waiter handed over a pair of scissors. Lin Yao took it over. Cut. It won't cut. The blade met the rope as if it had struck iron wire. Sliding off, her face grew even paler. Zhou Shen took the scissors and tried them himself. Same, can't cut. People around started to watch. Zhou's mother stood up. What's wrong? Zhou Shen handed her the scissors. Mom, this rope can't be cut. Zhou's mother looked down at Lin Yao's wrist. That red string, thin and taut, was cutting deep into the flesh. Around it, a ring of dark bruising. She furrowed her brow. What kind of string is this? Lin Yao shook her head. I don't know. It wasn't there yesterday. Mother Zhou stared at the rope for a few seconds, then she looked up and scanned the crowd. You see me, she stares at me, I look at her too, no hiding. She opened her mouth to say something. Lin Yao suddenly cried out. Ouch. Everyone looked down. The bruise on her wrist was turning black, like ink spreading, seeping out bit by bit from the edge of the rope. Zhou Shen grabbed her hand. What happened? Lin Yao shook her head, tears already streaming down her face. I don't know. I really don't know. The banquet hall fell into chaos. Some called for a doctor, others for an ambulance, and some took out their phones to record. I held the tray, standing behind the pillar, watching Lin Yao being helped into the lounge, watching Zhou's mother chase after her, watching Zhou Shen running after her, watching the relatives whispering to each other. I placed the tray back on the table, walked out through the back door. The corridor was quiet. I lean against the wall. I look down at my wrist. Nothing. It's clean. I smiled. Walk forward. I walk out of the hotel entrance. The sun is shining brightly outside. The sky in October is so blue it doesn't seem real. I stand on the steps, squinting my eyes. My phone vibrates. It was a message from Lin Yao. Sis, where are you? My hand hurts so much. I looked at that line of text. No reply. Put away the phone. Walk forward. After walking a few steps, I glanced back at the hotel. The window of the banquet hall on the third floor was open, and someone was standing by it. I couldn't make out who it was. I turned around. Keep going forward. The sun shines on me, warm and cozy. Lin Yao's ambulance was called at 3 in the afternoon. When I got home, my mom was standing at the door making a phone call, her face pale. At City First Hospital. Okay, I'll be right there. She hung up the phone, saw me, and grabbed me tightly. Wan, Yao Yao is in trouble. I looked at her. What is it? Something has grown on her wrist. It's black and swollen. The doctor says she needs surgery. Her eyes reddened. Hurry, come with me. I nodded. Get in the car with her. The hospital was in chaos. At the entrance of the emergency room, Zhou's mother sat on a bench, her face ashen. Zhou Shen stood by the window, smoking one cigarette after another. Relatives of the Zhou family gathered around, some making phone calls, others whispering among themselves, seeing us arrive. Zhou's mother stood up. Aunt Lin, my mother walked over. How is Yao Yao doing? Mrs. Zhou shook her head. The doctor said it might be an infection and that it needs to be cut open to drain the pus. But the strange thing is, she paused for a moment. After cutting it open, there was nothing inside. My mother froze. What do you mean? Zhou's mother looked at me, that look in her eyes. I couldn't quite describe it. Not suspicion, it's something else. The doctor said the black mark on her wrist isn't an infection. It's not a skin disease. It's not any illness they've seen before. She paused. Can't figure it out. My mother's face turned pale. What should we do then? Mother Zhou didn't answer. She just looked at me. Lin Wan, come with me for a moment. She turned and walked toward the other end of the corridor. My mother wanted to follow, but she stopped her. Aunt Lin, wait here for Yao Yao to come out. My mom stood still, not daring to move. I followed Mrs. Zhou. She stopped at the end of the hallway, turned around and looked at me. You know what that is, not a question. I look at her face. At 60 years old, she takes good care of herself, with hardly any wrinkles on her face, but the things in her eyes can't be hidden. That's the gaze of a matriarch from a wealthy family, having seen too many things. no one can deceive her, auntie, I don't know what you're talking about. She stared at me, stared for 10 seconds, Lin Wan, I've lived most of my life. What kind of person haven't I seen? She took a step forward. On the day of your engagement, you said you weren't feeling well and asked Yao Yao to take your place. Your sister was in so much pain, and you just stood there without any expression on your face. Now she has that thing growing on her wrist, and the doctors say they can't figure out what it is. Do you think I would believe it has nothing to do with you? I looked at her, no words were spoken. She waited for 3 seconds, no answer came. All right, she nodded. You're stubborn, I can't do anything about it. But there's one thing I need to tell you, the Zhou family's door isn't so easy to enter. Since Yao Yao has come in, she is now a member of the Zhou family. Whoever dares to touch her is challenging the Zhou family. She turned and walked away, her high heels clicked rhythmically on the floor. I stood at the end of the corridor, watching her figure disappear around the corner, standing for a moment, turning around to walk back, walking to the entrance of the emergency room. My mother was still standing there, her eyes red. Seeing me, she grabbed my hand. Wan Wan, what did your aunt say to you? Nothing. She asked if I wanted some water. My mom was taken aback for a moment, then she lowered her head. Wan Wan, Mom wants to ask you something. Does Yao Yao's matter have anything to do with you? I looked at her face, 62 years old, half of her hair had turned white, and her face was covered in wrinkles. She hasn't had an easy life. My father passed away early, and she raised me and Lin Yao all by herself. Lin Yao isn't her biological child, but she loves her even more than if she were. Mom, she looked up. No, she looked at me for a long time, then he nodded. That's good. She let go of my hand. You go to work, I'll wait here. I didn't leave, sit down beside her. The surgery lasted 3 hours. At 6 in the evening, Lin Yao was wheeled out. She lay on the hospital bed, her face as pale as paper, her eyes closed, her wrist was wrapped in thick gauze. Zhou Shen rushed forward. Yao Yao, she opened her eyes. Upon seeing him, she forced a smile at the corner of her mouth. It's fine. Mother Zhou also went over. The nurse pushed the bed into the ward, and a group of people followed inside. I stood in the corridor. I didn't go in. After a while, my mom came out. Her eyes were red. Wan Wan, you go home first. Mom will stay here tonight to keep watch. I nodded. I turned and walked toward the elevator. After walking a few steps, I heard someone calling from behind. Lin Wan. I turned around. It was Zhou Shen. He stood at the door of the ward, looking at me. Can I have a word with you? I looked at him. Speak. He walked over, stood in front of me, 3 meters away. My mom just told me that you might have a way. What method? The one on Yao Yao's wrist. I looked at his face. This face. I looked at it for 3 years in my past life. I've seen him laugh. I've seen him frown. I've seen him impatient. But the way he looks now, I've never seen before. Zhou Shen, what do you think I can do? He didn't say a word. I'm a waiter. Your mom just asked me if I wanted water. He stared at me. You really don't know? I smiled. I don't know. The elevator arrived. I walked in. Before the door closed, I saw him standing there, motionless. The elevator went down 1 floor, 2 floors, 3 floors. The door opened, and I walked out. It was already dark outside. The streetlights were on, casting patches of golden light on the ground. I stood at the entrance of the hospital. I took out my phone. Lin Yao sent a message. Sis, have you left? I stared at that line of text. No reply. Put away the phone. Walk forward. After walking a few steps, the phone vibrated again. It was still Lin Yao. Sis, I'm scared. Sis, can you come see me tomorrow? Sis, I have so much I want to tell you. I stopped. I stood under the streetlight. Those few lines of text were glowing on the screen. I stared at them for a long time. Then I typed a few words. Fine. Send. Put away the phone. Keep moving forward. After walking a few steps, it suddenly came to mind. In my previous life, I had also sent her a message. I was lying in a rented room, burning with a fever of 40 degrees, and sent her a WeChat message. Sis, can you come see me? She didn't reply. I sent another message. Sis, I'm feeling really unwell. Still no reply. I sent another message. Sis, I miss you. She replied. 2 words. Busy. I stare at the phone screen. Tears fall. I never sent her another message after that. Now she sent it to me. I continued walking forward. The streetlights receded one by one. I stopped when I reached the entrance of the residential area. I glanced back, in the direction of the hospital. Nothing was visible, only the pitch-black sky. I turned around, walked inside. The next morning, I went to the hospital. The ward was on the 8th floor, a VIP single room. When I pushed the door open, Lin Yao was leaning against the headboard, gazing out the window. She turned her head, saw me, and her eyes reddened. Sister, I walked over. I sat down by the bed, she reached out and grasped my hand. I have very little strength, sis. I'm so scared. I look at her face. After not seeing her for a day, she has lost weight, with sunken eye sockets and prominent cheekbones. Afraid of what? Afraid of dying. She lowered her head. The doctor said they can't figure out what it is. My mom said it might be a curse. She looked up at me. Sis, do you think curses really exist in this world? I look into her eyes. Those eyes, when she first came to my home 25 years ago, were big and bright, filled with fear and eagerness to please. They slowly changed over time. They learned to read people's expressions, to speak at the right moments, and to look where they should. Now you're back to looking scared again. Yao Yao, when did you put that string on your wrist? She froze for a moment. I don't know. Think about it carefully. She frowned, thinking for a long time. On the day of the engagement, it seems like I woke up that morning and it was there. Before that, not before. I nodded. Do you know what kind of rope this is? She shook her head. I don't know. I looked at her. The red string of fate. She froze. What? The red string of fate? It's connected to your destiny. Her face turned pale. Sister, how did you know? I didn't answer, just pointing at the gauze on her wrist. Do you know why it turned black? She shook her head. Because it changed hands. Change of ownership. This rope was originally tied to someone else's hand. Whatever life that person lived, you must live the same. Her face was frighteningly pale. Sis, what do you mean? I stood up. Yao Yao, take good care of yourself and get well. I walked out. Sis, she shouted. I stopped. I didn't look back. Sister, do you know something? I stand at the door. Yes. She froze. Then tell me, what exactly is this? I turn around, looking at her. It's the things you took that have come back for you. Her mouth fell open. She couldn't speak. I pulled the door open. Go out. A scream came from behind. Then came the crying. I didn't look back. Lin Yao lay in the hospital for 7 days. On the 7th day, the gauze was removed. The black mark around the wrist was still there. It hadn't faded. The doctor said the cause couldn't be determined and recommended transferring to another hospital. Mother Zhou contacted a major hospital in Shanghai that very day. The next day, Lin Yao was put on a flight to Shanghai. Before leaving, she sent me a message. Sis, I'm scared. Can you come with me? I looked at that line of text and didn't reply. When the plane took off, I stood on the balcony of the old house, gazing at the sky. The clouds were thick, and nothing could be seen. My mother called me from downstairs. Wan, come down for dinner. I go downstairs. There are only 2 people at the dining table. My mom serves me soup, barely having any herself. I wonder how Yao Yao is doing. She put down her chopsticks. Wan, do you think she'll be okay? I looked at her face. 62 years old. Half of her hair had turned white, with dark circles under her eyes. For the past 7 days, she hadn't had a full night's sleep. Mom, she'll be fine. How did you know? I don't know, but I didn't say it. Hospitals in Shanghai are better than ours. They'll definitely find out what's wrong. My mom nods, picking up the chopsticks, then putting them down again. Wan, Mom wants to ask you something. Do you really not know about Yao Yao's situation? I looked into her eyes. I don't know. She stared at me for a long time, then she sighed. That's good, let's eat. I picked up the bowl. She took a couple of bites. The phone vibrated. It's a message from Zhou Shen. What did your mom say to you? I look at that line of text. No reply. Another one. Lin Wan, I know you have a problem. Another one. You just wait. I turn my phone over, screen facing down, continue eating. A month later, Lin Yao returned. She had become so thin that she was almost unrecognizable. Her eye sockets were sunken, her cheekbones protruded, and her chin was as sharp as an awl. Her wrists were still wrapped in bandages, which had been changed but were just as thick as when she left. My mother went to pick her up at the airport and came back with red-rimmed eyes. Wan, Yao Yao has lost so much weight. I stood at the doorway, watching Lin Yao get out of the car. She saw me and froze for a moment, then she forced a smile. Sister, I nodded back. She walked over, stand in front of me. Sister, can I talk to you for a moment? I looked at her. Okay. We walked into the courtyard. The osmanthus tree was in bloom, filling the entire courtyard with fragrance. She stood under the tree, her head lowered. Sis, they couldn't find anything in Shanghai either. The doctor said it might not be an illness. I looked at her profile. What is that? She looked up. Sis, tell me the truth. Her eyes reddened. Do you know what this is? She raised her wrist, pointing at the bandage wrapped around it. I looked at that thick layer of white cloth. I don't know. She stared at my face. stared for a long time, then she smiled. That smile was uglier than crying. Sis, I've known since I was little that you're smarter, prettier, and more capable than me. My mom, your mom, has been so good to me, buying me school bags, sending me to school, treating me like her own daughter. But every time I see you, I feel uneasy inside. She lowered her head. Did you know, on the day of the engagement, when Zhou Shen saw you for the first time, his eyes lit up. Later, when you went upstairs, he asked me, how is your sister's health? I said, not too good, she might need a long time to recover. She looked up. I thought to myself, what if you never got better? That would be so good. The wind blew over, and osmanthus flowers fell all over the ground. Later, I really married Zhou Shen. I thought my life was complete. Who would have thought? She looked at her own wrist. Sis, do you think this is retribution? I looked at her. That face, when it first arrived at our home 25 years ago, was so thin it was just skin and bones, with eyes full of fear. Now that face is even thinner than it was back then. Yao Yao. She looked up. Do you want to hear the truth or a lie? She froze for a moment. The truth. It's retribution. Her face turned pale, pale enough to be frightening. You stole my marriage contract. You stole the life I was meant to have. Now it's coming back to haunt you. She stood there motionless. The wind blew over, tousling her hair and covering half her face. After a long time, she spoke. Sis, do you hate me? I look into her eyes. Hated. And now, I thought for a moment, seeing you like this, I can't hate anymore. She froze, then tears began to fall. She crouched down, holding her head, her shoulders trembling. No sound came out, but I knew she was crying. I stood there, watching her. The osmanthus flowers were still falling. They fell on her hair, on her shoulders, covering the ground in a golden hue. She had been crying for a long time. Later, she stood up. She wiped her face. Sis, I'm going back. I nodded. She walked out. After walking a few steps, I stopped. I looked back. Sis, will you come to see me in the future? I looked at her face. Yes, she smiled. That smile was different from before. It wasn't a smile of flattery, nor one of smugness. It was simply a smile. She was gone. I stood in the courtyard, watching her figure disappear through the doorway. The wind blew over, and osmanthus flowers fell all over me. In the evening, my mother asked me, Wan, what did you say to Yao Yao? I looked at her. Nothing. She said she was scared. My mother's eyes reddened. That child, pitiful. I didn't say anything. She continued, Wan, Mom knows you're upset inside. I looked up at her. All my life, my heart has been with the two of you. Yao Yao isn't my biological daughter, but I treat her as my own. You might think I'm biased. She couldn't go on. I stood up. I walked up to her. Mom. She looked up. I'm not angry. She froze. I'm not angry that you favor her. She's been without parents since she was little, so it's only right that you care for her more. I'm just angry that she lied to me. She opened her mouth. No words came out. I patted her shoulder. Mom, go to sleep. I'll go with you to see her tomorrow. The next day, we went to the Zhou family's house. The Zhou family's villa is located in the east of the city. A 3-story Western-style house with security guards at the entrance. My mother rang the doorbell. The nanny opened the door. Aunt Lin, please come in. In the living room, Lin Yao sat on the sofa, her wrist still wrapped in gauze. Zhou's mother was also there. Seeing us enter, she stood up. Aunt Lin, you're here. My mom nods, walked over and sat down next to Lin Yao, held her hand. Yao, does your hand still hurt? Lin Yao shook her head. It doesn't hurt anymore, Mom. She called my mom, Mom. She said it very naturally. Zhou's mother watched from the side. Her gaze swept from Lin Yao's face to mine. I couldn't quite describe that look. It wasn't dislike, it's an appraisal. I sit down beside. The nanny brings tea. I pick it up and take a sip. Lin Yao suddenly spoke. Sister. I look up. This mark on my wrist, it hasn't faded. She raised her hand, looking at the bandage. Do you think it will stay like this forever? I look at her face. I don't know. She lowers her head. What if it doesn't get better? My mother holds her hand. It will be fine. It will definitely be fine. Lin Yao didn't speak. She just looked at her wrist. After a while, she suddenly raised her head. Sis, what's on your wrist? I lowered my head. Reach out. The wrist was clean. Nothing. She stared at it for a long time. Then he nodded. Sis, you're really lucky. I didn't say anything. After sitting for a while, my mom said she had to go back to cook. We stood up and walked out. Lin Yao saw us to the door. Mom, sis, come often. My mother nodded. I looked at her. Yao, keep that rope on. Don't take it off. She froze for a moment. Why? If you take it off, You won't even have the life you have now." Her face turned pale. I turned and walked out. Walking out the main gate, I heard her shouting from behind, "Sis." I didn't stop, keep going forward. After a few steps, my mom caught up to me. "Wan, what did you mean by what you just said?" I looked at the road ahead. "Nothing, just saying." My mom glanced at me, didn't ask any further. We walked on. The sun is shining brightly. The weather in October is neither too hot nor too cold. I walked very slowly, but I didn't look back. 3 months later, something happened to the Zhou family. First, Zhou Shen's company was investigated. Someone reported him for tax evasion, and tax officials conducted a 3-day on-site inspection, sealed the finance department, and took away 2 computers. Zhou's mother pulled some strings, spent 2 million, and the case was suppressed. Then there was Zhou's father. He had a mistress outside, and she got pregnant, causing a scene at home. Zhou's mother was so angry that she fainted on the spot and spent a week in the hospital. Then there is Zhou Shen. He got into a fight at a bar and severely injured the other person. The other party had connections and reported it directly to the police. Zhou Shen was detained for 15 days, and by the time he was released, the company had already been looted in the chaos. 3 months. The Zhou family went from being one of the top 3 wealthiest families in the area to a bankrupt household with 80 million in debt. My mother kept muttering at the dinner table, "Poor Yao Yao, with the Zhou family in such a state, how will she manage her life?" I lowered my head and continued eating. I didn't say a word. Wan, come with me to see her tomorrow." "Okay." The next day, we went to the Zhou family's house. The villa is still there, but the flowers in front of the door are no longer tended to, withered all over the ground. The security guard is gone, and the main gate is left slightly ajar. My mom rings the doorbell. It took 3 knocks before someone came to open the door. It's Lin Yao. She was wearing an old cotton-padded jacket, her hair tied up casually, her complexion sallow. Seeing us, she froze for a moment. "Mom, sis." My mother's eyes reddened. Yao, you've lost weight." She smiled. That smile was different from before. "Come in and sit down." The living room was a mess. Instant noodle bowls were piled on the coffee table. Clothes were thrown on the sofa, and unswept melon seed shells were scattered on the floor. Lin Yao pushed some things aside. "Have a seat." My mother sat down, holding her hand. Yao, I heard about the Zhou family's matter." Lin Yao nodded, didn't speak. "What are you planning to do in the future?" She lowered her head. "I don't know." Seeing her like this, my mother's eyes turned red again. "How about you go stay with your parents for a while?" Lin Yao looked up. She glanced at me. I sat beside her. Not saying a word, she withdrew her gaze. "Mom, I need to think about it a bit more." After sitting for a while, my mom got up to go to the bathroom. Only Lin Yao and I were left in the living room. She lowered her head, looking at her own wrist. The gauze was gone. That black mark was still there, darker than it had been 3 months ago, black as ink. "Sister, tell me, can I still go back?" I looked at her face. "Back where?" "Back to how it used to be." I didn't say anything. She looked up, eyes red and teary. "Sis, I was wrong." I looked into her eyes. "Where did I go wrong?" She froze, opened my mouth, couldn't speak. I stood up. Yao, it's okay to be wrong about anything, but some things, once you're wrong, you're just wrong." I walked out. As I reached the door, I heard her shouting from behind, "Sis." I stopped. I didn't look back. I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have taken your engagement. I shouldn't have taken your things. I shouldn't have. She couldn't go on. I stood there, waiting for her to speak. After a long time, she began. "Sis, can you forgive me?" I turned around, looking at her. She stood in the middle of the living room, so thin she was just skin and bones, her face covered in tears. That black mark on her wrist was so dark it gleamed. Yao. She looked up. "Do you know whose hand this rope was originally tied to?" She froze. "That's me." Her face turned pale, as white as paper. "In my past life, this rope was tied to my hand. You stole my marriage contract. You stole my fate. I lived the life you are living now. Alone in a rented room, died of illness." She opened her mouth, speechless. "Do you know what I was thinking when I died?" She shook her head. "I was thinking, if there is a next life, I will definitely make you taste my suffering." She took a step back, bumped into the coffee table and almost fell. "Sis, what are you saying?" I looked at her face. "In this lifetime, I'll give it to you. You chose this yourself. You're living the life I lived in my past life." She stood there, trembling all over. Her lips moved for a long time before she managed to squeeze out a sentence. "Sis, you are. I didn't answer, just looking at her. The sunlight from outside the window streams in, illuminating her face. That face, 25 years ago when she first came to our home, was so thin it was just skin and bones, now even thinner than back then. She squatted down, holding her head, crying out loud, not a quiet cry, but a loud wail, just like when I was a child. My mom came out of the bathroom and was startled. Yao Yao, Yao Yao. What's wrong with you? She rushed over and hugged Lin Yao. Lin Yao buried herself in her arms, crying uncontrollably. Mom, Mom, I was wrong, I was really wrong. My mother patted her back. It's okay, Mom is here. I stood at the doorway, looking at them, watching for a while, turning around, pulling open the door. Go out, the sun is shining brightly outside. It's a bit cold in December, but the sun feels quite comfortable. I stand at the door, squinting my eyes. The phone vibrated. It was a message from Zhou Shen. Lin Wan, I know it was you. Just wait, I won't let you get away with this. I looked at those 2 lines of text, no reply. I put the phone back in my pocket, walked forward. After walking a few steps, I heard footsteps behind me. I looked back. Lin Yao stood at the door, tears still glistened on her face. Sister, I stopped. She walked over and stood before me. Sis, can I ask you for a favor? I looked at her face. Speak. This rope. She raised her wrist. Can it be removed? I looked at that black mark. It can't be removed. She froze. Then for the rest of my life. This is how it is for the rest of my life. Her tears fell once again. Sister, I looked at her. Yao Yao, do you know what I'm most grateful for in this life? She shook her head. It's getting a second chance. She froze, starting over. I realized that some things, once given away, you truly don't want back. I moved forward. After walking a few steps, I stopped. I looked back. She was still standing there, her slender shadow huddled by the door. Yao Yao, she looked up. This rope is not a punishment. It's what you deserve. I turn around, keep moving forward. I have walked a long way, looking back again. She is no longer there, only that door, left slightly ajar. The wind blew, and the door swayed. It didn't close. That winter was especially cold, around the 20th of the 12th lunar month. My mother answered a phone call, and her expression changed. Yao Yao is in the hospital. She stood at the kitchen door, still clutching her apron. Did Zhou Shen call? What did he say? He said she's not eating, has lost a lot of weight. He wants us to go see her. She took off her apron and walked into the house. Wan, are you going or not? I look out the window. The sky was gray and overcast, and it might snow. Go. Second Municipal Hospital, 6th floor of the inpatient department. When I pushed open the door to the ward, I froze for a moment. Lin Yao was lying on the bed, so thin that she was nothing but skin and bones. Her cheekbones protruded sharply, her eyes were sunken, her lips were chapped, and there was not a trace of color in her face. The blanket covering her body barely showed any rise and fall. On the bedside table sat a bowl of congee, cold and untouched. My mother rushed over. Yao Yao. She opened her eyes, seeing my mom. I forced a smile at the corner of my mouth. Mom. That voice seemed to come from a very distant place. My mom's tears fell instantly. How did you get so thin? Where's Zhou Shen? Doesn't he take care of you? Lin Yao didn't speak. She just raised her hand. The black mark around her wrist was still there. It had grown darker since the last time, black as charcoal. Zhou Shen came in from outside, holding a payment slip in his hand. Seeing us, he paused for a moment, then his gaze fell on my face. That look is different from 3 months ago. It's not hatred, it's something else. You're here. I look at his face. He has also lost weight. The once spirited young master of the Zhou family from 3 months ago now wears a crumpled cotton jacket, with stubble covering his chin. My mother asked me to come see her. He nodded. She didn't speak again. My mother held Lin Yao's hand, crying non-stop. Yao Yao, come back with me. I'll take care of you. Lin Yao shook her head. Mom, I can't go back. Why can't you go back? She didn't answer. She just looked at me, that look in her eyes. I can't quite describe it. Not a plea, not a complaint. It is empty like that black rope, empty of anything. My mom finished crying and went to the corridor to make a phone call. Only the 2 of us were left in the ward. Lin Yao looked at me. Sister. I walked over. I sat down by her bedside. Sis, am I going to die soon? I looked at her face. No. She smiled. That smile was uglier than crying. Don't lie to me. I didn't say anything. She raised her wrist. That black mark had crawled from her wrist all the way up to the middle of her forearm. It's going up, I know, wherever I go, I die there. I looked into her eyes. Yes. She froze for a moment, then she laughed. This time it's a real laugh. Sis, you know, I used to be really afraid of death. Afraid of death. Being afraid of death means losing everything. She paused. Now I'm not afraid anymore. Why? She looked at the ceiling. because living is more painful than dying. The hospital room was very quiet, there were footsteps in the hallway, voices, and the sound of a nurse pushing a cart past, but those sounds were far away, as if from another world. Sister, I've thought a lot about what you said that day, what words you said. This rope was originally tied to your hand. I looked at her. I remember now. Remember what? She turned her head and looked at me. There's something in my eye. When I was a child, I had a dream. In the dream, you were lying in a very small room, the bed against the wall, the window facing another wall. You kept calling my name, calling for a long time. I heard you, but I didn't respond. Her tears fell. Later, you died. I sat there, not moving. Sis, that dream, it's real, isn't it? I look at her face. That face was so thin it had lost its shape, with sunken eye sockets and prominent cheekbones, but the look in the eyes was that of the little girl who had just arrived at our home when she was young, afraid, trying to please, at a loss. It's true. She closed her eyes. Tears flowed from the corners of her eyes and into her ears. Sis, I'm sorry. I didn't say anything. I know it's useless to say this now, but I'm really, really sorry. She opened her eyes, looking at me. Sis, can you forgive me? I looked into her eyes, for a long time, then I reached out my hand, hold her hand. Her hand was cold, skin and bones, with no flesh at all. Yao. She looked at me. I forgive you. She froze, then tears streamed down, just like when I was a child, crying all over my face. My mom pushed the door open, saw the scene, and froze. Yao, Wan, Lin. Yao ignored her. She just held my hand, crying so hard she could barely catch her breath. Sis, thank you. My mom walked over. What's going on here? I looked at my mom. Mom, she's fine, she just needs to cry it out. My mom stood there, looking at me, then at her, then her eyes turned red. As long as you two can make up. We stayed at the hospital until dark that day. Lin Yao drank half a bowl of porridge. My mother was overjoyed, chattering non-stop all the way back. Yao ate something. She's going to get better. I look out the window. The streetlights passed by one after another. Mom, what do you plan to do once she recovers? My mom was taken aback for a moment, then he sighed. Let her come back to live with us. With the Zhou family like that, she can't go back there. I didn't say anything. My mother looked at me. Wan, you don't want to. I look out the window. No, that's fine. She continued to mutter. I looked at the night outside the window. It was pitch black, and I couldn't see anything clearly. My mind is filled only with Lin Yao's words. Thank you, she said. Thank you, but what is she thanking me for? For letting her live my life, still thanking me for forgiving her? I don't know. I don't want to know anymore. The next day, Lin Yao was discharged from the hospital. My mother took her back to the old house. It's still the same room from childhood, the bed by the window, covered with a quilt that had been sun-dried all day. She lay there, gazing at the osmanthus tree outside the window. Sis, this tree is still here. I remember when we were kids, the whole yard would be fragrant every autumn. She turned her head and looked at me. Sis, do you hate me or not? I stand at the door. I don't hate you anymore. She froze for a moment. Really? She laughed. That smile was different from before. It was pure. That's good. I turned and walked out. Sister. I stopped. I didn't look back. Can I call you sister from now on? I stood there, thought for 3 seconds. You've always called me that. I walked out. Her laughter followed behind me, very small, just like when I was a child. Outside the window, sunlight streams in. The osmanthus tree is still the same osmanthus tree. Lin Yao lived in the old house for 3 months. In early spring, the dark mark on her wrist began to fade. It doesn't fade all at once, but a little bit each day, like the tide receding, gradually pulling back. The first thing she does every morning is look at her wrist. Sis, has it faded? I glance over. It's faded. She smiles. That smile is different from before. It used to be about pleasing, about pride, about scheming. Now it's about happiness, truly happy. My mom is the happiest of all. I make delicious food for Lin Yao in different ways every day. Today it's stewed chicken, tomorrow it's braised pork ribs, and the day after, it's dumplings. Lin Yao has gained a little weight. Her cheekbones aren't as prominent anymore. Her face has filled out, and she walks with more energy. Sometimes when she sunbathes in the yard, I sit beside her and read a book. She didn't speak, and I didn't speak either, but that silence wasn't awkward. In early April, Zhoushan arrived. He stood at the door, wearing an old suit, his hair neatly combed, holding a bag of fruit in his hand. Lin Yao was sunbathing in the yard and froze for a moment when she saw him. How did you get here? Zhoushan stood at the door, not coming in. Come see you. Lin Yao glanced at me. I stood up. You guys talk, I'm going inside. Through the window, I saw Zhou Shen walk into the yard and sit down next to Lin Yao. He spoke, and she listened. He reached out to take her hand, but she avoided it. He lowered his head. She looked at the osmanthus tree. They talked for a long time. Later, he stood up and walked out. He walked to the door and glanced back at her. She didn't look at him. He left. During dinner that evening, my mother asked Lin Yao, "What did Zhou Shen come for?" Lin Yao lowered her head to eat. "Divorce." My mother froze. "What? He came to get a divorce? The Zhou family is completely finished. He said he doesn't want to drag me down." My mother opened her mouth but couldn't speak. Lin Yao continued eating. I looked at her. "Did you sign it?" She looked up. "Signed." I nodded. No further questions. After dinner, she came to my room, stood at the door. "Sister, I want to tell you something. Come in." She walked in, sat down by my bedside. "Sis, I want to go learn something." I look at her face. "What are you studying?" "Accounting. There was an accountant in the Zhou family who taught me a bit before. I find it quite interesting." I thought for a moment. "There are training classes in the county town. I'll help you ask about them." She froze for a moment. You don't object?" "What are they against?" "They're against me going to study and work outside." I look at her face. Yao, you're an adult now. You can decide for yourself what you want to do." Her eyes reddened. "Sister. All right, go back to sleep. I'll help you ask about it tomorrow." She stood up, walked to the door, then turned back. "Sister, thank you." I smiled, understood. She went out, the door closed. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. There was a moon outside the window. It wasn't very bright, but it was visible. Lin Yao was picking up accounting quite quickly. 3 months, passed the entry-level certification exam. My mom was overjoyed, telling everyone she met. My Yao got her accounting certificate. Now she can earn her own money. Lin Yao felt embarrassed by her words. "Mom, it's just the beginner level, nothing special." My mother glared at her. "What do you mean nothing special? My daughter is absolutely special." Lin Yao looked at me. I smiled. She smiled back. In autumn, Lin Yao found a job. A small company in the county was hiring an accounting assistant. The salary wasn't high, but it was enough for her own expenses. On her first day of work, she woke up very early. She put on her newly bought shirt, tied her hair neatly, and stood in front of the mirror for a long time. My mom is chattering beside me. "Be careful on the road. Remember to eat lunch, and come home early after work." Lin Yao nodded with a smile. "Got it, Mom." When she went out, she glanced back at me. "Sis, I'm leaving." I stand at the door. She left. I watched her figure disappear at the end of the alley. That night, she came back late. My mother was warming up food in the kitchen, and she sat on the sofa, looking exhausted, but her eyes were bright. "Sis, I did the account reconciliation today. The boss praised me for being careful." I pushed the water glass over. "Have a drink of water." She picked it up and took a big sip, putting down the glass. She suddenly said, "Sis, why didn't I realize before that earning my own money could be so much fun?" I look at her face. "Because you never had to earn it yourself before." She froze for a moment, then she laughed. "Yes," she nodded, "didn't have to earn it before, but now I do." "Tired?" She thought for a moment. "Tired, but it's a comfortable kind of tired." I didn't say anything. She stood up. "I'll go help Mom bring out the dishes." She walked into the kitchen. I sat there, listening to the laughter and chatter from the kitchen. My mother was praising her, and she was laughing. That laughter was different from before. After dinner, she came to my room. "Sis, I want to tell you something." "Speak." She sat on the edge of the bed, her head lowered. "I got paid today. 2,300. Not much." I look at her face, and then, she looked up. "I want to buy you a piece of clothing." I was taken aback for a moment. "What, buy you a piece of clothing? You always used to buy for me." "I've never bought for you." She lowered her head. "I didn't understand back then. Now I do." I look at her face. That face, when she first came to my home 25 years ago, was so thin it was just skin and bones. Later, she gained weight. Her complexion brightened, and she learned to smile. Later on, it changed again. Now it has changed back. Yao. She looked up. "I don't want clothes." She froze. "Then what do you want?" I looked into her eyes. "Save the money. There will be many places to use it in the future." She opened her mouth, couldn't speak. I smiled. "I can buy my own clothes." Her eyes reddened. "Sister, all right, go back to sleep. You have work tomorrow." She stood up, walked to the door, then turned back. "Sis, you're so kind." I smiled. "Got it." She went out, the door closed. I lay in bed, looking at the ceiling. there was a moon outside the window, it's very bright. 1 year after Lin Yao started working, the black mark on her wrist completely disappeared. That morning, she got up, stared at her wrist for a long time, and then rushed into my room. Sis, it's gone. I opened my eyes. She raised her wrist and brought it close to me. Clean, nothing at all. It's gone. Her eyes reddened. Really, it's gone. I sat up, looking at her face, that face, a full rounder than when she first returned, rosy and glowing, with light in her eyes. Gone is good. She stood there, tears streaming down. Sis, thank you. I looked at her. What for? Thank you, for letting me come back. I didn't say anything. She wiped away her tears. I'm going to tell Mom. She ran out. My mom's exclamation came from downstairs, followed by laughter. I sat on the bed, listening to that laughter. The sunlight outside the window shone in. Warm and cozy. That autumn, Lin Yao got a promotion as an accounting supervisor. Her salary increased to 4,500. She bought a cashmere coat for my mother and a pair of leather shoes for me. My mother couldn't bear to wear it, so she hung it in the wardrobe and took it out to look at every day. Yao bought it. So beautiful. I wore those shoes to work, and they were quite comfortable. At the end of the year, Lin Yao brought someone home, male, wearing glasses, tall and thin, speaking softly. Sis, this is my colleague, Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen nodded at me. Hello, Sister Lin. I look at his face. Have a seat. He sits down, a bit awkward, not knowing where to put his hands. Lin Yao laughs beside him. What are you nervous about? Xiao Chen glanced at her. No, I'm not nervous. My mom came out of the kitchen, saw Xiao Chen, and froze for a moment. Mom, this is my colleague, Xiao Chen. My mom looked him up and down. Oh, a colleague. That look, I understand. She understands too. Lin Yao blushed. Mom, my mom smiled. Sit, everyone sit, dinner will be ready soon. During the meal, my mom kept putting food on Xiao Chen's plate. Eat more, you're too thin. Xiao Chen's bowl was piled high like a mountain, and he nodded repeatedly. Thank you, Auntie. Lin Yao was eating with her head down beside them, her ears turning red. I watched this scene unfold. He didn't say a word. After finishing the meal, Xiao Chen left. My mother pulled Lin Yao aside and asked her all sorts of questions. Where is his family from? What does he do? Is he an honest person? Lin Yao was embarrassed by her question. Mom, what mom? Speak up. I stood up. I'm going out for a walk. As I reached the door, I heard Lin Yao calling from behind. Sis, I turned around. She ran over. She stood in front of me. Sis, what do you think of him? I looked at her face. Do you like him? She was taken aback for a moment, then she nodded. Yes, I do. Is he good to you? Yes, that's good then. Her eyes reddened. Sis, I pat her on the shoulder. Go in, Mom is still waiting for you. She nods, turns around and walks back. After walking a few steps, I turned back. Sis, thank you. I smiled. Got it. I walked out. The alley was quiet, with streetlights shining on the ground. I walked slowly. As I walked, I suddenly remembered something. In my past life, I was just like this, walking alone in the alley, but back then, it was at night, with no lights, pitch black. Now there are lights. When I reached the end of the alley, I stopped. I glanced back. The door was open, with warm yellow light streaming out from inside. Someone was laughing, someone was talking, someone is waiting for me to go back. I watched for a while, then turned around, continued walking forward. After walking around, when I came back, Lin Yao was still standing at the door. Sis, why did you take so long? Just wandering around. She looked at me. Sis, what are your plans for the future? I looked at her face. Haven't thought about it yet. She nodded. Take your time to think it over if you haven't made up your mind yet. She suddenly spoke up. Sis, why don't you move back in? I was taken aback for a moment. What, move back in? Mom is alone, and I want to see you every day too. I looked at her face. That face, when it first arrived at my home 25 years ago, was so thin it was just skin and bones. Later, it grew plump, became beautiful, turned proud, and then grew weary. Now it has changed back again. It has become just like it was in childhood, clean, warm, and smiling. Okay. She was taken aback for a moment. Really? Her eyes turned red. She rushed over and hugged me. Sis, I pat her on the back. All right, let's go inside. It's cold out here. She lets go of me and wipes her eyes. Come on, let's go inside. We walk inside. The door closes behind us. Warm yellow light illuminates the entire courtyard. The osmanthus tree is still there. It will bloom again next year. I moved back to the old house on the 23rd day of the 12th lunar month, Little New Year. My mom prepared a big feast, Lin Yao helped her serve the dishes, and Xiao Chen also arrived, assisting in setting the tableware. I sat on the sofa, watching them busy at work. Outside the window, someone set off firecrackers, crackling loudly in a continuous burst. Sis, it's time to eat. I stand up, I walk over. The table is filled with dishes: sweet and sour pork ribs, braised fish, stewed chicken soup, stir-fried vegetables, and a plate of dumplings. My mother sat down and put a piece of spare ribs on my plate. Eat up. I picked it up, took a bite. She looked at me. Is it delicious? Delicious. She smiled. Lin Yao was beside Xiao Chen, serving him food. Eat more. Xiao Chen nodded. Thank you, Yao Yao. My mom looked at them, then at me. The smile on her face couldn't be contained. The Spring Festival Gala was playing on TV, with the hosts offering New Year's greetings. The sound of firecrackers outside the window grew louder and louder. A new year. I'm 28. That night 3 years ago, I thought my life was over. Now I think, this life, just beginning. After finishing the meal, I went to stand in the courtyard. The moon was very bright, shining on the osmanthus tree. Lin Yao followed me out. She stood beside me. Sis, what are you thinking about? I was looking at that tree, thinking about childhood. She was taken aback for a moment, then she smiled. Childhood was really wonderful. I turned to look at her. Isn't it good now? She thought for a moment. It's good now too, better than before. I look at her face under the moonlight. Her eyes are very bright. Yao Yao, live well from now on. She nodded. You too. I smiled, turned around, turned back. After walking a few steps, I heard her calling from behind. Sis. I turned around. She stood in the moonlight, smiling at me. That smile was just like when we were kids, pure, warm, and nothing else. Thank you. I stood there, looked at her for 3 seconds, then smiled. Understood. I turn around, walked into the house. Behind, the moonlight illuminates the entire courtyard. The osmanthus tree is still there. It will bloom again next year. There is still a long way to go. Take it slow. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.